Hi guys, welcome back to the BTWBJ podcast.
Guess what, motherfucker?
Some of the information you are about to hear, some may find disturbing.
I don't know who gave them this or who gave them the clearance. On the crotch.
Oh my
Right
lord.
there.
Can we Google that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then I fucking stumbled down a dark hole and I love it.
Great cake parties. You know, if I'm going to believe anybody's bullshit, I'm going to believe mine.
It sounds not politically correct, but
You two motherfuckers need Jesus.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Botox with Big Jim podcast. It's been been like 2 weeks since we actually last did this, right?
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, so it feels kind of weird doing this now. Let's get a couple things out of the way. Let's get some business out of the way. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram at Botox with Big Jim podcast. Also, please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share on YouTube. And I know this sounds very cliche. I'm sure everyone's heard it before. Please be sure to go onto Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review, even if it's one word. Just those little reviews are helping us to get more recognizable on the podcast charts. And so far, we've gotten a few more. I would like to also give a big thank you to someone who bought us our first beer, Alicia, out in Reno. Thank you so much. Which one did you get with that beer?
The beer is called Reno as fuck, ironically.
Reno as fuck.
I was looking for breweries around here, but this one just happened to pop up, and it's not brewed here, but it's actually sold at a pub here in San Leandro. And then you sent me that text that, hey, someone bought us a beer. Just happened to be Alicia, who lives in Reno.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just said, you know what? I got to get it anyway, no matter how strong it is, because it is strong. I've already drank half of it, and I got a buzz, so
Jesus
y'all
Christ.
are warned. Reno as fuck. 8.5% alcohol, double Indiana. Not Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana don't have dots on their forehead. India Pale Ale. Indy Pale Ale. Never mind.
By the way, big thank you to Epidemic Ales. I will be drinking the Pale Alien. Big shout out to them right now. Oh, that just sounded good. Ooh, damn, that's good.
It's all good.
That is delicious.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm gonna do one more.
Yeah. Just so you know, I have the award-winning Lager at World's End gold medal for 2020, pal. So that's coming next. And if I like it, I'm gonna go get a growler, mauler, whatever the fuck it's called. But I'm gonna go get it.
All right. Yeah, we
rambling.
have 18 reviews on Apple Podcasts. They are helping out, so thank you so much to everybody who has done that. If you haven't already done so, please go check out our Halloween special. It came out last week, just before Halloween on the 28th. That features Amanda and Cassidy from Drinking the Kool-Aid podcast. That was a blast. I had hella fun doing that.
I
That was
watched that
so
thing
much
a few
fun.
times.
I've watched it 3 times.
I watched it a few times.
The edits.
And just so you know, on their last podcast, they did do the doppelganger story that I sent in to them.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay.
Actually,
you guys got to check it out. True story.
So I actually sent them one as well. I thought they were reading mine.
Oh, really?
And then they read yours. So I was like, holy shit. So do you remember the doppelgang story?
Of yours or mine?
Of mine.
I don't think I ever heard of it.
You were sitting down on the couch and you said that you saw me come from this is when we were living in San Lorenzo. I was sitting on the couch. If you don't remember this, it's gonna blow my mind. I was living with you, and we were living. There was this loft above the garage. That was my room, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You told me I came from the garage area, walked in front of the couch because the couch that you were sitting on was up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Not the one in front of the mantle.
Mm-hmm.
you said something, and you said I stopped right in the middle of my tracks. Didn't look at you, didn't say anything, and then I walked into the bathroom and I closed the door.
I don't remember. I
You
mean,
don't?
well, we lived in that house, dude. Strange shit happened in that house all the time.
Yeah,
So
because right after that, you said, well, first off, I remember walking in from work, and you're like, how the fuck did you get outside? I was like, what do you mean? And you told me, you said that I had just walked from the garage to the bathroom. I was like, dude, I literally just got here. I just got off of work. I was in work clothes.
was that at night
This was
or in the daytime?
This was when we were working at the furniture moving, or when I was working at the furniture moving company.
So it was at night.
No, it was during the day. It was like 4 p.m. maybe.
Okay, well, I mean, what I mean by night, I mean it was late enough and early enough to start drinking. You sure I didn't drink?
You were not drinking. Positive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't remember this. I mean, I remember having the couch up against the mantle, like, because it opened up the living room.
Yeah.
But like I said, a lot of shit happened in that house, and you just can't let it scare you. You know that.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy enough, and I'll tell it on here too before we get started. A very similar doppelganger story with my wife here at the house that we're living at now, and I think we've even mentioned to
that
you
I
and Mom.
remember. That I remember.
So I was off of it was my day off from my day job, and we're all hanging out. It was me, my wife, and my daughter. My wife and my daughter are playing ball. They're tossing a ball back and forth to one another. And I get up, and my wife is laughing hysterically. Something had happened, and I asked, well, what happened? And then to her recollection, I walked up to her, said, what happened, with the most blank expression on my face. And in the middle of her laughing and trying to explain what happened, I turn, still no expression, turn, go up the steps. Or no, I was up walking halfway up the steps already, and I turned, correction. And I said, well, what's so funny? And she's laughing, trying to explain the story. And then I just turn and go finish walking up the steps and go to the bathroom that's upstairs. Well, this bathroom that's upstairs has real old floors. So wherever you step, they creak real, real loud. And at this particular time, I think it was probably like 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because the sun was beaming through one of the windows and hitting the linoleum floor and causing a reflection on the ceiling. Well, she didn't see my shadow past that light. 2, she didn't hear any creaks of the floor. And after like 2 or 3 minutes, she ran upstairs and was trying to find me, and she couldn't find me. She was like, "Where are Jim? Jim, where are you? Where are you?" So she's calling me like this. Excuse me. And probably 5 minutes goes by, and now she's freaking her, like she's losing her mind, and she goes, "Jim, Jim!" And I'm downstairs in the bathroom, handling my business,
concentrating on the loaf.
Yeah. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, What do you mean? What am I doing?" She's like, "Dude, I've been
shitting, hun.
Yeah,
I'll draw you a diagram if you like.
I've been looking for you for the last 5 minutes." And at the time, I had paused my phone and I flipped it over, and I said, "Hun, I've been sitting down here for the last 5 minutes and 23 seconds.
Check Pornhub.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. History. So yeah, that was a doppelganger story too.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. All right, so what we are going to talk about today, we are going to talk, and even though Halloween is over, it's not technically over for some of us cool kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ghosts don't give a fuck.
So what we are going to do is we are going to talk about haunted movies.
Movies?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One of them being the one of the movies that you had mentioned recently on your Instagram TV story.
Oh, I tried sending that to you, dude. I don't know how to do it. So I apologize to anybody if it looks or sounds like shit, but I was trying to make it and send it to Jim, and so he can chop it up and do whatever he has. Get him the story because it was a true story. And I was going to actually write that into Amanda Cassidy, but believe it, I probably had 5 beers before I made that recording. So I could have kept going with that story.
Seriously?
Oh
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
dude. I had to shut it. I had nothing to eat all day, and I was driving and I was tired, and I was like, I got to get this story because I told her last night that I'd do it. I didn't feel like typing it out, but so I made the video, and I hope everybody saw it or seen it. You should need to repost it on your page because I don't have a large following, which is fine. The following should be directed to the podcast, but it's a true story. And my dad, your grandfather, as a matter of fact, my sister streamed it on his TV. He has a big flat screen in the front room, so my big head was on the wall, and I was telling the story, and he related to everything, and he said, I cannot remember. I cannot believe he remembered that story.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was 4 years old, and we talked about it afterwards, and there was more stuff that happened, but he's like, man, he also took me to an Alice Cooper concert when I was 3, maybe 4 years old. He used to drive that van. We lived on a hill, but we were at the bottom of the hill, so he used to drive the opposite direction, start at the stop sign, and floor it. And once he hit the decline part of the hill, it would launch him. Literally, we would launch over down the decline. Well, I was telling my sister, I was like, yeah, ask him if he remembers that I didn't seatbelt, because at the time it was only lap belts. So I had a lap belt on, and I was in the back because it was a transport van. I was in the back, and I literally slid out the fucking seat and hit my head on the roof as we're bouncing. So I'm basically like this little fat rubber ball bouncing all over the place. So yeah, true story, guys. True story.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
All right. So, well, with that being said, the first movie that we are going to talk about is The Exorcist. Now, this movie, like you mentioned in your story, did come out actually the day after Christmas. The day after Christmas.
Really?
December 26th, 1973.
There you go. I told you I was 4.
Jesus Christ, man. Now, this is first off is a trippy movie. So, like I said, we are going to be talking about The Exorcist. The Exorcist came out the day after Christmas.
That I didn't know. That's funny.
That's fucking crazy, right? That it came out the day after Christmas. And I think even in the movie, they celebrate Christmas.
New Year. It was either Christmas or New Year. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking wild. And now that movie has gone down in history as one of the scariest movies of all time. It was at the time number 1 in all horror movies for I think a solid 10 years. Like it grossed I think $100 million at that time. Crazy. I mean $100 million now is like an Avengers movie or something, but for a movie with practical special effects, $100 million in 1973, fucking insane.
If you watch it on a 4K or a high def TV, you can see the makeup line, the prosthetics.
Oh yeah.
It's so cheesy, but it's phenomenal. Like I said, it's my favorite movie of all. I can actually watch that, and it's sad to say, but I can watch that all the time, even if it's non-rated, which is on TV, or the R-rated version.
Me too. You know, some of the scenes were actually cut from that movie.
You know what? I bet you if they put those scenes back in or make some sort of a trailer with Linda Blair narrating it, it'd be popular.
One of them that was cut was when she's doing that spider walk down the steps.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a cut scene because the director said that wires were visible when they did that. So he said, you know what, fucking let's take it out. You can see the wires. It's stupid. Regardless of the fact, when it got re-released in like 80 something and a little more high definition that time, people were like, what the fuck? Because she comes spider walking backwards down the steps, and then blood comes out of her mouth upside down.
Yeah, and if you watch, they've made a couple of their prequel or sequel or whatever the hell you want to call it, but there's one, it's called The Exorcist, and the beginning, I think it is. It's when Father Merrin was younger.
Yeah.
And they have that effect in there. And I think that was made like in 2003.
Yeah, 2000, I think it was 2004. All right, let's get started. From the beginning of the film, strange things begin to happen. Now, the reason why I say we're going to talk about cursed films is because people say these films are cursed. That weird shit has happened. That weird shit has happened either on the set of the films, after, or before. The home where 80% of the movie was filmed caught on fire. So this is what they speculate is part of a curse from this film. Which, by the way, this film was based off of a actual true story. If nobody knows,
it was a boy though.
It was a little boy in the 50s, 40s or 50s, something like that.
It was early 20th century.
Yeah, real early in the century there. And same thing, very similar things were happening. This boy's bed would start to fucking be like one of those mechanical bulls. He would have devil burned into his skin. He would be now the whole head thing that was from what I've seen and read, that wasn't real. They just added that for movie effect, but close to just about everything was real. And then from that time, it progressively got worse during this film. So, like I said, 80% of the home caught on fire. The home that they used to make this film. That's 80%. The other 20 was Reagan's room, Linda Blair's character. That room was not touched by any fire.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did they say was this used? I don't know if you probably said it. Was it filmed in Washington?
Or
New York City?
No, this was filmed in New York City.
Okay, because the reason why I'm asking is I have someone we know went and visited Maryland and actually took a picture of the stairs that Father Merrin, I mean, not Father Merrin, but the other father jumped out of and rolled down the stairs.
Damien,
yeah.
Why you do this to me, Damien? Why? That shit is creepy. That's one of the creepiest fucking things. And even Joey Diaz talks about it in one of his podcasts. He goes, listen, dog, when that crazy old broad says, listen to me, Damien, I fucking lost my mind, dog. Let's see. Now, here's a few more things that happened during filming and again after filming. Ellen Bernstein, I believe I'm saying that correctly.
Correct.
Reagan's mom, who was a very well-pronounced actress. She got
for a long time.
For a very long time. She got severely injured after one scene in particular. And if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's almost, 40 years, 50 years?
Dude, it's almost, yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the movie, there's no spoilers here, people.
Yeah, it'll be 48 years ago it was made.
So she received a really bad spinal injury when Reagan pushed her down, when she has that scene with the cross, the one that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. And she gets thrown to the ground, and when you hear her scream, that's actually her screaming. She injured her tailbone. I don't know the scientific name of the tailbone, but your ass bone. She injured it so bad that that
she has a white girl ass. Not much there.
Yeah, there ain't nothing there. But she injured it so bad that there was a not like a dislocation, but something happened.
Yeah.
And it fucked her up. And from there on, she was like, I can't do very many movies. And it fucked with her psychologically because of all the other things that happened also. Not only that, but 9 deaths, 9 people who were linked to the movie had died. 2 of the more quote unquote famous was Jack McGronin, or the Irish director who was thrown down the stairs at the beginning of the movie. When, again, that scene with the cross, when her head turns to look at her mom, the voice of that actor comes through Reagan, and it says, "Do you know what she did? Your daughter?"
Mm-hmm.
It's still, I got chills talking about that one. And then also Vaskili. Okay, if I mispronounce names, I am sorry.
Vasiliki.
Malrios, the mother of Damien Caras, the old lady,
the Italian lady,
old Italian lady. Demi, why you do this to me, Demi? So those 2 people actually died. Jack died, if I'm not mistaken. I could have swore I did more research on this. Anyways, he died during the filming, like a few weeks into the filming, and then the older lady died after the film. Now it could be a bunch of different things. This was also the early 70s. People were smoking cigarettes like they were drinking water. So there could have been a number of different things, but a lot of crazy shit happened during this particular film, and then the rest of the films to follow. The demon voice, and here's actually something that's really cool. This person didn't, she didn't die, but something happened. Did you know that the voice of the demon, which I believe they called it as Pazuzu? Pazuzu.
Yeah.
What did it say? Your mother's in here with us, Damien. Would you like to say something to her?
Yeah.
That crazy fucking voice was actually done by a woman. And that wasn't Reagan's real voice. That was done by a radio voiceover person by the name of, thank you, voice actress by the name of Mercedes Cambridge. She broke sobriety. She hadn't drank for over 16 years. Broke sobriety, smoked cigarettes, and swallowed raw eggs to get that gurgly, raspy voice.
Okay, that's fucked up, and for breaking her sobriety.
It is, but that's terrible. The whole curse thing too.
And brought to you by Reno as Fuck, beer of choice for the week.
Epidemic Ale's Pale Alien. The film set was also reported to drop 5 to 5 degrees on certain scenes. Now, in the movie, again, if you haven't seen it, I don't know where the fuck you've been. A lot of the times, to get the effect of it being so cold, that they were actually put into a refrigerator, some of the scenes. So when they're talking and you see their breath come out like, a foot away from their face.
Yeah.
That's because they were actually inside of a refrigerator.
Prior to shooting the scene in the house?
Or
was the prop built in a big refrigerator unit?
Both.
Oh, yes. That.
So the director would drop the temperature to 15 degrees. So, and if you pay attention too, what's her name? Linda Blair. She continuously got sick and almost died from pneumonia on a few of these scenes, because in the movie she's wearing nothing but a fucking nightgown.
Yeah.
But if you look at the both of the priests, they're all bundled up. They got gloves, they got fucking jackets and scarves and shit. And she's supposed to be sitting there chilling like it's not cold.
Well, that one scene where she's just sitting talking to the priest like nothing. She's all,
yeah.
In that breath, yeah. So that exhaust illumination from the breath, that was real.
That's all real. Now, it's also reported that it actually dropped below zero a few times, not from anyone who had set the temperature gauge. It actually dropped because whatever was in there with them. Now, this is all purely speculation. It's not fact or fiction or, whatever. But there was speculation that something was in there as they, quote unquote, conjured the Pizzozo demon. I don't know if that's real, but that's fucking creepy. And the fact that they're able to sit in there for hours on end to get one scene is fucking crazy.
Well, better them than me, because I wouldn't have sat through that shit. I still wouldn't. Makeup effect or nothing. I had to quit.
Now, going back to Mercedes Cambridge, excuse me. As I mentioned, she broke sobriety. So yes, that is fucked up for anyone who's in rehab or anybody who's in recovery. To break sobriety for a specific movie or for a career, I wouldn't recommend it, and it's fucked up.
Yeah, just for
now that's also
a minute in time.
Yeah, that's also, like I said, a part of this curse that people are doing shit that they would normally not do. Now, to add even more fucked up shit, now this is many years later. This is probably over 14 years later, 1987. Her son, Mercedes Cambridge's son, killed his wife, all of his children, and then himself.
Jeez. And what was the reason?
There was no reason for it.
He wasn't psychologically damaged.
So from what I read, that the wife of the marriage, they were not in any issues. There were not any financial issues. I think he just snapped one day, or if it's a curse, whatever the Pizzozo demon is. How's that beer taste?
Very mucho bueno.
Whoever the Pizzozo demon is, it just fucking had twisted all of their minds and it got into the people, I think. So now, after all of that, and again, this is all speculation. It's not 100% confirmed that this is a cursed film or that they did any a Ouija board. Actually, they did do one. That's how downstairs. Yeah, that's right. They did.
That's how she came across Captain. I don't know why the hell. It must be a book. Oh, it is a book in Captain Underpants. No, it's not Captain Spawn.
She came across Captain Underpants.
It's in my bookshelf right now. It's one of Chubby's old book.
Oh my God.
Captain Spaulding.
I think let's just leave it as Captain Underpants. That's better.
Okay. I could be wrong. Spaulding is, I don't know, fuck it.
Can you imagine if that whole movie got changed from being possessed by the Pizzozo demon to being possessed by Captain fucking Underpants?
No.
Okay. All right. Now this is going to be this is actual well-documented truth. And actually, as mentioned before, the lovely young ladies who were on with us, Amanda and Cassidy, actually covered this story. This particular one that I'm about to tell you, it's a very quick snippet. Now, the most disturbing of all the stories of people either dying from a curse, breaking sobriety, having their son murder themselves and the whole family. Other than all that, did you know that there was a real life serial killer on the set of The Exorcist.
On the set?
On the set. Not only on the set, he was in the film. Not only was he in the film, he performed a specific operation to the young little girl, Linda Blair. Reagan. Do you know what scene that I'm talking about?
The epidural or the not the X-ray, the
Actually, it's
the
the
CAT scan.
It's the X-ray. So
that dude was a serial killer?
That specific scene is the most well from critics and spectators. It is for that time. That is what it used to sound like and what they would experience for X-rays. The guy who's sitting at the end of the table, he has a goatee. His name is Paul Bateson. He was an actual X-ray doctor, which that he was a real radiology person in real life. And he was also caught years later as a serial killer. Years after the film, Bateson was linked to 6 deaths after luring a man back home and beating him to death.
I was going to say, this is around David Berkowitz's time, Son of Sam. I thought you were going to say that, but anyway,
no.
Go ahead.
No. So this particular person, again, and if you want to get the full story, I highly recommend that you go over to Drinking the Kool-Aid podcast and go listen to them. They talk about this particular person. So that's The Exorcist. That's the whole cursed speculation around the Exorcist. Now,
so hang on a second.
Yeah.
So this guy's the X-ray technician. Is he documented, like you said, as a serial killer? So you can actually investigate and do research on all his cases?
Yep, on all of them.
All
6 deaths.
I assume he's dead or he's in jail, or
I didn't look into it. I didn't. I'll be honest. I was at work when I was listening to that episode, so I was in and out of the episode of Drinking the Kool-Aid. But when I researched all of this and quote unquote curse films, he popped up and I was like, oh shit, they were just talking about this guy. So I kind of cross-referenced back and forth. So that was The Exorcist. Now, before we go any further, for those who may not have seen your Instagram story, can you give us a your brief story of The Exorcist that your lovely father, my wonderful grandfather, did?
All right, I'll try to do it under a minute. So long story short, I was 4 years old and I just had confirmation over the weekend, and he actually added to the story. And there are some corrections that I got to say. So at the time, him and his buddy drove a transport van for a mental institute out here, not necessarily in the Bay Area, but outside of Napa Valley, which is Napa State Insane Asylum. And they used to drive him to and from the jail. So at this particular time, he ended up having a patient in the van. And instead of driving him to the facility, he stops to pick me up to go to the movie theater. Him and his buddy decided to, we're just watching the movie. My dad was the driver, his buddy was passenger. I was in the middle. Movie came on. She started freaking out. And they were loaded and drinking and having a grand old time. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody talking behind me, which I thought was behind me, thinking it was my dad or his buddy, and it wasn't. So when I finally turned around, I happened to notice like a silhouette in the back moving, and didn't think much of it other than whatever, it's a cargo, it's a van. Maybe there's something back there. Well, got confirmation that there was a psychiatric patient who they were transporting from jail to the mental institute, and they decided to go to the drive-in theater, roll up a couple of fat joints and drink some tall cans like we are today, and get loaded and watch this movie called The Exorcist. So I hear somebody asking me to move over, and I thought they were trying to scare me. Well, in actuality, the patient in the back, he got a contact high. He was loaded, and he was actually enjoying the movie. He started enjoying it even more so when the scene came on, when she started getting into the big transition of becoming the demon. So yes, I watched the movie The Exorcist with my dad, his coworker, and a psychiatric 5150 patient strapped into a gurney in
Fucking
1974.
Christ.
True story. I cannot make that up. And yes, I had a contact high. I was low.
What the fuck? I love Grandpa for that because that shit is fucking
oh yeah.
hilarious.
I was talking to him and Serena last night, and he laughed so hard last night that he watched it on replay because they put me on the TV
Yeah.
from your phone.
She sent me the same video.
Yeah, and he's like, I cannot believe he remembered that. And of course, Grandma Emily's like, oh, poor baby. You know how Grandma Emily,
Yeah.
she's wants to comfort everybody, but man, that's a story I'll never forget. That's just one of the stories I remember going through with him. But yeah, I watched The Exorcist with a mental patient strapped in from transport. He was
Jesus
5150, but he enjoyed watching this movie of this crazy broad turning into a devil demon. True story. True
That's
story.
fucking wild.
And in that same year, real quick, not to go off topic, but like I said, so that you said it came after 1973 Christmas, so 1974 my birthday's in February. That year, 1974, 4th of July night, it was my dad, two of his best friends from work, and another guy. They were standing in a circle in front of the place we live. And I ended up standing with them. So there's technically 5 of us in this circle. His buddy particular, who was a close family friend and relative by marriage, and they're smoking a doobie. Again, this is the 70s. Marijuana was phenomenal to them. Not strong like it is today, but it was just weed, right?
Right.
So they're passing around this joint, and all of a sudden, the one particular individual ends up passing it to me, not paying attention who he gave it to. And I'm 4 years old. I mean, this guy, he's over 6 foot tall. I'm probably under 4 foot. So he ends up handing it down like this. So I took a drag, and it just kept going in rotation. And he finally realized that he was handing a joint to a 4-year-old, and I was smoking pot with them at 4 years old.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? Hey, you know what? I don't have no regrets. I don't blame any of them for anything. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful time of my life.
That's fucking hysterical. Oh my God. Well, all right. Jesus.
All right,
Christ,
back to the
Dad.
story.
All right, so the next
it made Grandpa laugh, and it was good.
I'm sure it did. It fucking made me laugh.
And he confirmed it. He's like, "Yeah, I used to drive for a mental facility."
That's fucking insane.
And
I want to ask him how he got that job or how he came across that job.
Well, what's I mean, not that people don't do it nowadays. People get wasted during work, but the fact that, and he told me, he was like, "Yeah, right after the movie, I think he said we were in Antioch, not in Oakland, or we were in the vicinity of the facility he's talking about is over the bridge just northeast of us. And where that facility is located is what is known as wine country nowadays." So he said, once the movie ended, I had to floor it. I was doing 100 miles an hour to get the patient back on time for bed call.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he basically was on a time limit to get this guy, this patient. Instead, he picks up his son, me, wherever they bought the weed, and you go to a liquor store to buy the malt liquor, and they're drinking and smoking, and like I said, and you guys heard the story. True freaking story.
Jesus Christ.
And he said, I barely got the patient back on time for bed check.
Fuck. Well, shout out Grandpa. Thank
Grandpa,
you.
Love you. Love you,
Grandpa.
Dad.
All right. So even though Halloween season is, I guess you can call it over,
Not in our family.
Yeah, no, never. We still got 2 more movies to fucking cover. One of which.
Okay, I have enough beer.
Yeah, so do I. One of which being a movie that was released on June 25th. This was 3 years after The Exorcist, 1976, known as The Omen.
Really?
Yes.
That's a haunted film too?
This is also one of the allegedly speculated to be haunted.
That little fucker.
Damien, I think his name was Damien too.
Yeah, I wanted to beat him up, and I was only, what time you say? What year it came out?
You were 6 years old.
Yeah, I didn't like that dude. He was...
One of the most disturbing scenes in this movie was a decapitation scene. Now, if you have not seen this movie, it's 45 years old. You should go see it because it's a fucking crazy movie. It's a great movie. A lot of deaths in this particular movie are pretty fucking disturbing, but this one in particular, and at that time, seemed. By the way, taking a step back, Exorcist was so fucking raw and scary at the time of the movie release. People were fainting in the movie theaters. They were throwing up and fucking. They thought they were being possessed by some fucking demon. Just a side note.
I believe it. I mean, yeah.
So going back to The Omen. Sorry. One of the most disturbing scenes of the movie was a decapitation scene. This not only occurred in the movie, but it happened in real life after the release. The person who made that whole scene, that the special effects creator John Richardson, and his wife Liz Moore were involved in a head-on collision. His wife was decapitated from the tire of the other car.
No, wait, shot through the window?
Shot through the fucking windshield? Window. Yeah, this was after filming. So probably, typically they take about 6 months to maybe a year to release the actual film. So probably within that time frame, 6 months to a year.
Oh, man, okay.
Fucking took her head off. Richardson survived the whole head-on collision. And now this is purely speculation. It's not 100% confirmed, but what he quote unquote saw was on a road in England was 6.6 kilometers until the next town being Omen.
What?
Yeah. Ommen. That's the name of the town. And he was 66.6 kilometers away from that town when they got into a head-on crash, and his wife got decapitated from the tire of the other vehicle.
Wow. So yeah, that type of stuff I didn't know. I mean, I heard it being cursed, but I never followed up on the stories. But I'm intrigued. Go ahead.
Now, there was also a scene like many other movies that have deleted scenes. Well, this one in particular involves a tiger. I guess for his birthday or something like that, something along those lines, Damien wanted to go to the zoo and see a tiger. So there was a cut tiger scene. A scene in The Omen involved tigers, and it was producers who used trained wranglers and trained tigers for this particular scene, which obviously makes sense.
Legit, yeah.
The tigers, what they wanted to use was the actual tiger's roar on camera. So the wrangler was going to do something to the tiger to make it roar. Well, what ended up happening was one of the tigers were not properly harnessed and ended up killing the fucking wrangler. This was all on camera.
They caught it on film?
This was also why it was cut from the movie.
Oh, so they were making the scene.
They were making the scene,
and the fucking tiger broke. Oh wow.
Yeah, this is like Siegfried and Roy before all of that happened. And if you don't know who Siegfried and Roy are, you're living under a fucking rock. Was it Siegfried or Roy that got his throat fucking ripped out by a tiger? I think it was Roy.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking.
I think they're weird, but anyway.
the fucking tiger killed the trained professional wrangler to come and fucking do this movie, and it fucking killed him.
Pet lovers, whatever. Their first instinct, they're beast.
Yeah, they're fucking
wild
animals.
I don't give a shit how much you jerk them off. They're gonna get wild. Who knows what the fuck they do to tame them? I get tamed, but
all right. Cool. Don't need to know that. Jesus. Now, another thing that happened, a producer, he actually dodged death twice, which I'm surprised that he was able to fucking do. His hotel, the producer was Mace, God, these fucking names. Mace Neufeld, Nuefeld, Neufeld. Yeah. Producer Mace Neufeld dodged death twice when his hotel was bombed in a apparent terrorist attack. This was actually happened in the 80s. So early 80s, 82, I believe it. Yeah, 82.
In England?
In England.
Oh, so the IRL?
Yeah, could have been. His hotel was bombed, and then a year later, while in London, he again missed being a bomb victim after learning a bomb had exploded in the restaurant. He dodged 2 bombings. 2.
Okay. No. I get what you're saying, but that's kind of a far stretch to try and tie.
It is, and that's why I'm saying a lot.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying a lot of this stuff is like speculated as to why these films are cursed.
Okay.
So that's just from the Omen. The Omen had their own bad stuff going on. Now the third film that we're going to talk about, because crazy shit happens in threes.
Yeah, I have 3 kids.
You're welcome.
That I know of.
Is the Poltergeist. This is probably one of the best films as far as poltergeist, demonic, crazy shit happening.
Yeah,
now, there's also
I've more than anything, this is the one that's probably more
that you
brought up on television.
Yeah.
It's on all the show. You can't change TV without seeing cursed film.
Yeah.
And Poltergeist being the top.
So Poltergeist, basically being the top. 4 actors died during and after the film of this movie. The first one being Dominique Dune.
Mm-hmm.
She was Diana Freeling. The 22-year-old died 4 months after the film's release on November 4th, 1982. She was strangled to death by her boyfriend. He said it took 6 to 10 minutes to hear her not breathing. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's domestic violence. He was a I'm gonna
put
remember the story.
I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. When we spar against other people and we're actively trying to put them in joint locks or chokeholds, sometimes it can take all of 6 minutes to do that and not even be able to get someone to tap. The fact that this dude sat there for 6 to 10 minutes and just had his hands around her fucking throat and was squeezing, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, she was tiny. She was the oldest sister.
Yeah, she was the older sister. She was the oldest sister in the film. She was also after this. She was put into a coma and then she never woke up. And what's even crazier, the guy who killed her only served 3 fucking years. 3 years.
Yeah, see, those are the worst stories. I hate to hear.
Well, I have more.
No. I mean the fact that there's just
wow, this beer's just hit me. Oh,
it's
Epidemic Ales. I would like to thank you for this beer, the Pale Alien. This is good. I can't. This is.
And I have the lager at World's End. And usually on your web pages, you guys advertise this with like a side of tacos, and it would go great with some tacos.
Yeah, this is fucking good. All right. The next one being Heather O'Rourke.
The little blonde girl.
Yes. Carol Ann Freeling. She was the little girl in the movie. Again, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what the fuck you've been, but she's the one that goes, "They're here," and she disappears into the actual that dimension. The 12-year-old died on February 1st, 1988 of septic shock. That's fucking insane because this was caused by a bacterial of toxins that form in a bowel obstruction, which crept into her bloodstream, causing her to go into cardiac arrest. She was 12 years old.
Yeah, she was a baby girl.
She was a fucking child.
She also had kidney issues, but
yeah,
it was an obstruction. She did get septic.
She died on the operating table after they tried removing the obstruction. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, but I need to go take a piss. Pause.
The next of the individuals who had died was Julianne Beck. Julian Beck. The evil spirit Cain. 60-year-old he was 60 years old. Man, this IPA is kicking good. The 60-year-old battled stomach cancer for 18 months. Now again, I'm not saying that this was based off of a curse, but it's ironic that he died after the film was released about poltergeists and demons and all this other shit.
Someone can argue it was pre-existing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Another one being Will Sampson. He was known as the Good Spirit Taylor. He was a 53-year-old who died after the second movie's release. He died from a severe purportive malnutrition and post-operative kidney failure and a fungal infection. Now, if you don't know who he is the Indian or the Native American shaman in the second film. And then the next person who played a very small part in this movie, but I saved him for last because it's fucking crazy how he died. Lou Perryman. He was 67 years old and it had a small part, like I said, in this movie. He played Pugsley. He was murdered by a recently released ex-convict with an axe.
Why?
No fucking idea.
So so he was Pugsley in the movie?
Pugsley in the movie.
You said the second movie, so Poltergeist 2?
This is No. The second movie was Will Sampson. That was the Good Spirit. And then William Perry played Pugsley in the first movie.
I gotta watch him. It's been a while, but
yeah,
okay.
Me too. But yes, he was murdered by an axe from a recently released ex-convict. And that is the cursed films that we have discussed. I only put down 3. I figured that we've already gone more than an hour.
We have?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So
that's good beer.
That's a great fucking beer. Epidemic Ales. Seriously, thank you. This is a great fucking beer. The Pale Alien is delish. Do you have anything to say?
No, I'm enjoying my buzz.
Yeah, me too. This is a great fucking beer. Thank you so much.
Well, the brewery in general, Epidemic Ale, is out of Concord. Again, like I said, support your local brewery, Concord. This is some good stuff.
This is some great stuff.
Take advantage of the nice weather we have. It's November 2nd, and still 70 degrees.
Not
Californians, you should be liking it.
Yep. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you Epidemic Ales for being a part of this podcast brought to you by Epidemic Ales. Lastly, please, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, please be sure to go follow us on Instagram at Botox with Big Jim Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. That is Twitter. BTWBJ _ If you go to our Flow page, that's FLOW.PAGE/BTWBJ. Has all the links to everything. Has the links to Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and also the link to our Buy Us a Beer. And again, big shout out to Alicia for the Reno as fuck. Thank you so much for our beer.
Bam.
Right there.
And just a reminder, look, there's something we're going to be doing every Friday. We live in a place where there's so many breweries within a 20-mile radius that, you know, I don't mind picking up the brew and getting it. This past Friday, I went and picked up a beer out of Altamont Brew Works. It's called Hella Hoppy. It is a double IPA as well, I believe. Long story short, I've already drank mine. Jim will be drinking his, so we will promote them next week. And again, I will drive anywhere, and we're very fortunate to live in an area with a bunch of breweries, and that's our next thing. We're going to be drinking a beer and buying a beer, and we're going to be pushing it, and there's nothing in return. The only thing is just trying to help out each other. Bottom line.
Period.
Bottom line.
Just trying to help everyone out in the crazy coronavirus times.
So thank you everybody. Yeah.
Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for listening. Lastly, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Again, this is how we get put onto podcast charts and get more recognizable to a broader audience. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, leave us a 5-star review and share this podcast with some of your friends, family, and coworkers. That'd be great. I know a lot of you.
It's very simple.
It's very easy.
Like you said earlier, you don't have to type a fucking paragraph or write a novel. It could be one word. 5 stars. It's already on the screen for you, you lazy fucks. You push the right-hand star and you can leave it blank. But nowadays we live in a world of emojis. So it can be a middle finger.
It could be a peace sign.
I love you. Or is that I love you? Shocker.
Yeah.
Whatever.
This is I love you. This is a shocker. Oh, this is a shocker.
That's a 1 in the pink, 2 in the stink.
Yeah.
Or unless you like 2 in the stink, and then, you know, we'll pay extra. But anyway.
Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for listening. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Big Jim, talk to you next week.
Adios.
Peace.